Mhm. Hey, everybody. I'm just playing around, trying to check out the lighting and the camera angles and seeing what's behind me. Yeah, you see that? Because I bake. I sell my baked goods. I didn't realize the door was cracked open, but that's in that door. Mystery solved, right? Nobody's. Anyway, so if anybody is awake, honey, feel like be okay and go ahead and jump on. But I am just kind of testing this out. So I guess I really would be on here by myself talking to myself because really, who is awake at 12:50 in the morning? Seems like it's okay, but I think it's because I am wearing red. You know, red just kind of goes with everything. So many rules, no problems. Hmm. No, I really should be sleeping myself, right? That's why am I awake? And you know, the funny thing is looking at myself, I feel like I'm blurry. So I really don't know how to fix that. Kind of weird. But I guess the more I do this, the more I will know how to fix stuff, right? Yeah. So I'm just thinking. So I decided to do this because I really have not gone live. I mean, I did it once. I waited like 5 minutes and I jumped off. Then I did it again. Um, I think the first time I did it, I messed it up. Then I did it again. So now this is three times the charm, right? So yeah, I really didn't have anything specific that I wanted to talk about. There's a whole lot that I could talk about. Um, Changes are coming, y'all, with the CNA stuff. I think with healthcare as a whole, but it looks like they're going to start making it a whole lot easier for the CNA students to make up their state exams. I know Washington State is making some changes. I'm sure other states are making changes too, because I have spoken to graduates from the CNA programs from different places, not even just Washington, um, down south, East Coast. And they were telling me that they have not taken their state exam yet. And, you know, they took the class either during COVID or before COVID. So that just kind of tells you how far behind it is, y'all. So if it's been that long, you know, and you haven't tested yet, please, please, please practice. Usually the written part is the easiest. Although I did talk to one person who, oddly enough, she passed the skills, but she didn't pass the written. No, yeah, but she didn't pass the written. So, um, but just because skills is usually the hardest part, and it's just the little details that people tend to miss. So please practice. Pull out that book, pull out your notes, go review the videos that you were using in your program. Practice on stuffed animals, your baby sister, your boyfriend, your husband, you know, your sister, your mama, whoever you have to practice. Sorry, background noise, TV's on. Um, but practice, please. You know, teaching students, I noticed that our pass rate was pretty high, except for the students that, you know, after we graduated, they didn't have the money to take the test. They needed to go back to work. Next thing you know, 3, 4, 5 months went past. And let me turn this volume down, y'all, because it decides to get loud. I like my chair pillow. It keeps me pretty comfy. But anyway, so the longer, and then I noticed, so what happened is that, you know, you lose those little details. So when you lose the details, it's easy to miss, especially if you're working as a CNA or not a CNA because you're not certified, but if you're working as a caregiver, home health, long-term care facility, it doesn't matter. Honestly, the real world way is a whole lot different than the state way. So if you have taken your class and you're not able to take the state exam ASAP, um, make sure you practice. Come up to the school, find out. I used to let the students come up to the school and observe other students during the skills part. I would even let them step in. They can play the part of patients. I would let them do a couple of rounds just to keep the the information fresh in their brain. That will make you not pass that test, because if you have the real world habits, the way that we do things in the real world, I mean, we're still safe. You're still going to maintain dignity and respect and safety and all that stuff. But when you're taking your state exam, there's specifics that you have to do. You're following that book, you're following that criteria, you're doing things a certain way. You're knocking on the door, introducing yourself, which you should be doing anyway. But knock on the door, introduce yourself. My name is so and so. It's a skill I want to perform on you today. Is that okay? Okay, I'm going to wash my hands and get my supplies. I'll be back. So you can, things like that you cannot skip. You have to wash, from top to the bottom when you're doing peri-care. Front to back and not back to front. There's the things that sometimes you may get sloppy on. And my suggestion is, when you do, if you do have to go back to work and you're not able to take your state exam ASAP, continue to practice to do things the way that you do it for the state and for classroom, the way you were taught, the way it's in your head. I know sometimes when you're going by the book, it takes a little bit longer, but the more you practice those, you'll be fast. Even with my students in class, we do speed drills, because I want them to be very quick. I'm very detailed. The way I teach my students, extremely detailed, because I'm not just teaching my students to pass the state exam. I'm also teaching my students to be good caregivers. So I teach them extra steps, which means it could make them take a little bit longer. So we do speed drills. I have them to practice the exact same way they're going to do at the state exam. There's 3 of them. They have one person that's playing the evaluator, one person that's playing the patient, and one person that's going to be the caregiver. And they all get to take that turn doing that, so they know how it feels on each side. And we speed. I have a whole list of how long it should take each skill to complete, and they have to do that. The one who's pretending to be the evaluator is going to have a timer, and they're going to let this person know, just like the state exam does. They give you a warning. You have a couple of however many minutes left. If you're doing, you have 5 minutes left. Lets you know if you have 5 minutes left, speed that stuff up. So if you're able to take it as soon as you can. If you're not able to take it soon, then please practice. If, say, for instance, you finally were able to get a test date, they said your test date is going to be November 15th. By all means, right now, start practicing. Contact your school that you were trained at and say, hey, my test day is coming up. Can I please come up to the school and do some practicing? Can you do some drills with me? Speed drills are really good. If you are practicing at home or alone, even at the school, set your timer. Give yourself an idea of how long you think skills would take, like knee-high stocking. I give my students 2 to 3 minutes to do that. Modified bed bath, I give my students 7 minutes to do that, 5 to 7 minutes. So, because I want them to know how to do everything fast, because at the state exam, you can literally not pass the state exam if you run out of time. So it's very important that you do not time out. So if you practice that way, then when you take your exam, it's already in your head, right? Just kind of my little tips on making sure you pass that state exam, because we have students who haven't seen a classroom in 2 years. So it is very important, and not all states offer refresher courses. So contact your school, get your buddies together, some other students, and say, hey, y'all, let's get together. Let's do some practicing. Let's make this work. There's a whole lot of written practice tests online. Just make sure you find legit ones. If you're watching videos that were not produced at the school where you were trained, be very careful. Some of them could be outdated, or some of them may be different. So in Washington State, our skills are, I keep wanting to say Pearson VUE, but we are now Credentia. In Texas, they use Prometric. So just be very careful when you are watching videos, and make sure you're finding ones that are legit, so that way that you can be up to date on what you're doing, and talk to your teacher your instructor about that as well. Also talked to a guy who he never even entered the classroom, because he literally took his schooling during COVID. So everything was online for him. They didn't go into the classroom for nothing. instructor demonstrated online. They didn't get to do hands-on practice. They didn't get to do any speed drills. They didn't get to be tested out or anything. And he did not pass he passed the written, but he didn't pass the skills. But I will say that he did very well because he only missed one skill, and that was changing an occupied bed. And it's because he forgot to tell the resident, I'm going to scoot you over towards me, and then we're going to roll over. So he forgot to give those instructions, and he didn't pass the test. So remember, talk to whoever's playing your patient, even if it is the mannequin. You want to talk to them as if you're talking to a real patient. You're talking to that mannequin. Hi, Miss Johnson. I'm Nicole. I'm going to come in. I'm going to be your caregiver today. We're going to do peri-care on you, if that's okay. Okay, so let me go ahead and wash my hands and get my supplies, and I'll be right back. So he literally failed, not because of what he was doing, but what he forgot to say. So remember to say, if you say everything out loud, I encourage my students also to say things out loud. If you say it out loud, it helps you to remember those steps. And also, not just helps you to remember the steps, but it kind of throws the evaluator off because they're listening to what you're saying. Also, with that, the evaluator can't say, you didn't do this, 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 and that. Yes, I did. I said it right here. So the evaluator helps them also to evaluate you better. You can say, okay, on the count of 3, we're going to roll over. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and lift your arm up. Okay, I'm going to clean under your armpit. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and rinse your armpit. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and dry your armpit. Okay, I'm going to put your arm back down. That way the evaluator knows everything you're doing because you're saying it out loud. I was trying to think of something to say, and it just kind of came off the top of my head. I'm going to be done with this in a few minutes because it is literally 1:02 in the morning in Washington State, and I really do need to get some sleep. I'm always up into crazy hours, but that's just me. But I thought I would bring that up because it has been a topic. I've done a couple of tutoring sessions with students who, well, not a couple, more than a couple of tutoring sessions with students who have been waiting for quite a while to take the state exam, and they're very nervous. 2 of them did not pass their state exam because it took so long for it to come up. It is just so important to practice. Don't cram. Just every day, flip through your book, pick a section, take some notes, review it, have somebody quiz you if you can. If not, make yourself some flashcards with the skills. Good Lord, just practice those skills again. See if you can go into the classroom. And practice. Otherwise, find some legitimate videos. Review your notes. I always say I make my students take notes. When I demonstrate skills, I make them take notes. This is what we're going. This is the important part. If you wash it, you have to rinse it. You have to dry it. We're doing, dressing the patient with the affected right arm. I'm giving them these little steps and these little tips. And I also have the students to get all their own supplies. I'll say, okay, this is the supplies I need for foot care. And I'll volunteer somebody. I need you to go over there. Matter of fact, I want about 3 or 4 of you. I want you to do it together. This is what I need you to grab. I need you to grab the large basin. I need you to grab 2 washcloths. I need you to grab this and that. I need you to grab the soap. Then they do it together, because at that point, they get used to going over there and grabbing supplies off of the shelf, because when you're at the state exam, you have to grab your own supplies. So be very proactive in your classroom. And so while you're grabbing those supplies, when you sit back down, write it all down. This is what I just got for her. And those who were not participating in getting the supplies off the shelf, you writing your notes down too. This is what we need for foot care. I usually have my students to write it in the skills books, but some students like to write it down literally. I've had students who typed it up and made a whole outline. So whatever helps you to remember, but take notes, ask questions, and practice until you're dreaming about this stuff. People tend to think that CNA class is super easy. It's not super easy. I think it would be easier if we didn't do it so fast, but it's crammed. Back in the old days, CNA class used to be like 3 months. You've gone from 3 months to 3 weeks. I've even seen some places down south that's doing this stuff in like 2 days, which I really don't understand how you teaching anybody anything in 2 days. Because I take a whole week on skills. Sometimes a week and a half on skills. We do a test Then we go to clinicals, and then we come back and we do a post-clinical skills testing, because when you get to clinicals, you learn some bad habits. So before you leave my class, I need you to pass certain skills. So we do post-clinical skills testing after we come back from clinicals, and then we do a nice little potluck. So you literally have to pass skills twice for me in order to graduate. But that's why my students tend to have a higher pass rate. Again, I'm very strict, but we have fun. We play music. I bake cupcakes. And, we do all kind of cool stuff like that. But I want you to learn. I want you to be the best of the best. I want you to walk into that state exam as if you own that building. Um, I want you to be the best. When you go take care of patients, I want patients to remember you because you took care of them. You didn't just flip them over side to side, get your work done, run to the next one. You literally took care. You talked to them. You listened to them. You treated them like people. At some point in life, if we should all live so long, at some point, somebody's going to need some kind of care. We're going to be old. Not getting younger. We're going to be old. Or maybe you might just fall and break your ankle. You may be in high school and you may be playing soccer and you may break your ankle. You might end up in the hospital. I'm sure you want a CNA that's very well trained, compassionate, attentive, etc., taking care of you. So always think about that. How would you want to be treated? How would you want to be cared for? And I also tell my students, you know what? This nursing game, this healthcare game is not for everybody. You get up in that classroom and you're thinking, whew, good Lord, this is not for me. I've had students who are going to school to take their CNA and then become nurses because their parents were nurses and they just following the whole course of what this person did and that person did. But they're not really happy. It's not what they want to do. And people who need to be taken care of in these facilities need somebody who wants to be there. There is no shame in saying, you know what, this is not for me, y'all. I'm going to do something else. I'll be over here. Y'all go ahead and, take care of this. Y'all do your thing, but I'm going over here. That's okay. What the problem is when you take the class, you become a CNA or a nurse, etc., you realize you hate it and you treat your patients crappy. I've seen it. Don't do it. If this is not what you want to do, if your whole heart is not in this, sweetheart, go someplace else. Go do something else. Maybe you want to work construction. Maybe you want to be a bank teller. Maybe you want to bake and sell your baked goods. I have that paused. That's crazy. Okay. Anyway, so that's just my little tidbit, y'all. I'm gonna get myself off of here because, yeah, it's late. I need to go to bed. But when y'all see this, comment, like, share, and subscribe. Tell some people about me, y'all. Come on, help me grow here so I can share my knowledge. I have a lot of knowledge. I've been doing this for a long time. I love teaching. It's my thing. I enjoy it. Have a lot of fun with it. Okay, yeah. I think I have ghosts. Anyway, y'all have a good night. I shall return. All right, now let me see if I know how to get out of here. End stream. I've been on here 18 minutes. I did good. All right, y'all. Take heed, okay? Be good, do good, be the best you can. Make somebody smile, make somebody happy. Because a lot of us are going through a lot of things, and just your smile can make a whole big difference in somebody's day. So kind of remember that, okay? Have a good night. Yes. Goodbye. All right.